Ethan Sachs and Paolo Villanelli hunt down 4LOM as Tonga and her crew search a graveyard of starships for the assassin droid in hopes that they can locate Cadlia and save her from the wrath of Crimson Dawn. Ethan Sachs continues building out a few of his long-running story plots this issue as we get a very horror-esque issue featuring ghost ships and creepy spider assassin droids. And thanks to this setting, the interactions between Tonga and her crew were the highlight of the issue for me. I loved Bosk and Tassu sniping at each other with catty comments, but then when shit got real after they realized what 4LOM was doing, they both kinda turned into that character in a horror movie who knows they shouldn't split up and what happens when they do. The other story the book covers is Vukorah's, a character who started out as a type of heavy hitter, sort of thug villain for another character, and I've loved her development over the course of the last couple of issues, going a very Game of Thrones backstabbing and subterfuge route with her ascension to the throne of a clan and becoming their great leader. It's really quite fantastic, and it's a great role for her since I think she's very suited for that, and I'm very much looking forward to her being sort of a main villain for this group of bounty hunters. Paolo Villanelli's continued work on the series is one of the biggest highlights of each issue for me, capturing the horror aesthetic of the ghost ship really well while also giving us some more traditional action in Vukorah's parts of the book. His redesign for Vukorah, which is really simple and very effective since she just basically put on a cape and helmet, is very cool, and it's very Space Viking-esque and very fitting of the Unbroken Clan's overall aesthetic, and her look now reminds me a lot of villains from past Marvel Star Wars books, especially from the original 70s and 80s Marvel Comics run. Star Wars Bounty Hunters issue 20 was another great issue that had a few varying tones from horror to political subterfuge. They all worked really well together and made for an interesting portion of the Crimson Reign tie-in stories. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10. Star Wars Bounty Hunters issue 20 heads to Lothal Minor, where Bosk knows the frost planet he was on was safer than this planet. Tonga agrees and they should have left him there, as Zuckuss tells the team that 4LOM is on the planet, having traced his signal there. Tonga notices the Hutt freighter nearby in orbit, newer to the debris field than anything else there, thinking it came from Nar Shaddaa, where their target was last seen. Zuckuss hates her for calling his friend their target, but Losha knows she didn't mean anything by it. Zuckuss leaves them all to joke, but 4LOM is the greatest slicer in the galaxy and he will find them Cadlia. But the last time he saw the droid, he was reprogrammed into a dangerous assassin droid who tried to kill him. The crew latch on to the Hutt ship, cutting their way aboard and finding most of the systems have been turned off. Bosk knows that it's a trap for sure, and Tonga tells him to stay calm and avoid shooting the droid in the head. Zuckuss finds this unacceptable, wanting to talk his friend down while the rest hang back. Tassu Leech says his farewells to Zuckuss since he'll almost certainly die, but Tonga says that they will all split up so they can try and get the lights and power back on. She tells Losha not to say that she doesn't take her anywhere special as they head off one way while Zuckuss goes off on his own, leaving Bosk and Tassu to head through a destroyed hatch, knowing this is a bad idea and it just got worse. Zuckuss shouts out to his friend that he's there to help as Tonga and Losha find someone in the engine room, but soon discover it's a headless body which belonged to the captain of the ship. Zuckuss is soon stalked by the reprogrammed 4LOM as Tassu and Bosk find another body dressed up to look like Zuckuss, thinking the droid must have missed his old friend. Bosk finds the droid built a powerful transmitter to help communicate with Zuckuss, but Tassu knows it's a trap and they aren't the first to respond to it, finding many knives in the corpse in front of them. They try and warn Zuckuss as 4LOM comes for the former friend of his. At the Unbroken Clan palace, General Vukorah arrives to meet with the Grand Leader, rushing past the man's servant and telling her men to stay outside and to shoot anyone who tries to interrupt them. Vukorah enters the office, looking over the mural of the clan's past victories as the Grand Leader appears, asking why the woman is there. Vukorah says that she has been left to keep the Unbroken Clan together as he hides away mourning his traitorous daughter's death. The man knows that he is the culmination of hundreds of generations of the Unbroken Clan, and when his daughter died, everything died with her. He says that when he dies, the royal line will die with him, but Vukorah says that she loves the Syndicate too much for that to happen, as her men outside kill the Great Leader's men. The man demands to know who Vukorah thinks she is, since she was just a starving street rat before he took her in, but Vukorah knows that she has dedicated her life to the clan, and she is more of a daughter to him than his real daughter ever was. He knows to him she wasn't, and that she will always be a street rat. Vukorah knew deep down she always knew that, really hoping it would have been different and that he would have noticed her. She unsheathes her sword, with the man knowing that it's the sacred relic that they thought lost. She uses the Unbroken Clan sword to kill the Grand Leader, bidding farewell to her father as she tells him that he has a granddaughter named Cadlia, and she too will die soon when Crimson Dawn gets a hold of her. Vukorah's men secure the rest of the fortress as she dons the helmet of the Grand Leader, wanting a transmission sent to Lady Kira telling her that the Unbroken Clan will be joining Crimson Dawn. Losha meanwhile gets the ship's lights working, finding someone rerouted all of the power to somewhere else in the ship. Bosk and Tasu race through the ship to warn Zuckuss as the hunter comes face to face with his old friend, who says that he sent the signal to lure Zuckuss to him since he is programmed to kill him. The droid attacks with his huge legs as Zuckuss says that he knew this was a trap and he came anyway. 4LOM powers up its cannons, thanking Zuckuss for coming as Tonga blasts the cannon to bits, telling the droid to stand down. The droid opens fire with its other guns, knowing that it's not in any real danger as Losha and Tonga escape the hail of blaster fire. Zuckuss tells him to stop since it's him the droid is after, knowing somewhere inside 4LOM's programming he remembers their bond and he will not kill him. Bosk suddenly tackles the droid down, telling Zuckuss that he might be stupider than he originally thought. Tasu opens fire on the droid, knowing that this is the most fun he's had since he stabbed his best friend in the fighting pits. 4LOM tells the hunters that he will terminate all of them as Bosk rips one of his arms off, finding it one less thing to try and kill them with. Zuckuss stops the battle, knowing that he can get through to his friend 4LOM and he'll be safe with them. The droid suddenly stops, hugging his friend as he says that he shouldn't have counted on an emotional connection and he will fulfill his directive. He readies to stab Zuckuss, but the hunter beats him to it, hitting the droid with an electrical needle, stunning him as he cuts off the droid's head, knowing one day he will thank Zuckuss for this kindness. Tasu thinks that Zuckuss maybe isn't fully useless as Tonga asks if he thinks this can work. Zuckuss knows that he can use the tech in the droid's head to make the transmitter to track Cadlia, plugging him into the ship's systems and rebooting the droid back to his original programming. 4LOM comes back online, wondering if thanks to his current state, they didn't collect Boba Fett's bounty. Zuckuss tells his friend that he'll fill him in later, wanting him to trace all communications with the name Cadlia in it. The droid gets to work and after some time, he finally gets a ping. Tonga tells the group that they have intercepted a communication from Crimson Dawn's ship and they are moving to capture Cadlia as they speak, but they have the element of surprise over the Dawn and their agents. Deathstick meanwhile learns their communications were hacked by a band of bounty hunters. Deathstick knows that they know too much, contacting Dengar, who apologizes to Minaru since Judy calls, answering Deathstick call and wanting to know who she and Crimson Dawn want him to kill.